What's up, TikTok? As y'all come in, y'all let me know where you at. Let me know where you're coming from. What's going on? TikTok, y'all come on in. Make sure y'all tapping the screen and let me know where you're from, where you're coming in at. That'd be good. To my folks on, I'm still waiting on YouTube and Facebook to come up. Okay, Lynn, I see you on there from Pennsylvania. What's up, Shell? How you doing? Hey, what's going on, Taylor? Can you hear me fine on YouTube? Let me know if you can hear me on YouTube and Facebook. What's up, Phyllis from Raleigh, North Carolina? You said, what you say, damn, what we drinking? Nothing, just some I couldn't even get my story right. Little Uncle Val's and some cranberry juice. Y'all have to look up and see what Uncle Val's is. What's going on, Robin? I see you, Lolo. Robin on Facebook. Kimberly from St. Louis, from the Loop. Black Malibu from Fort Wayne. What's going on? Appreciate you jumping in with me tonight. All right. TikTok, when you come in, make sure y'all tapping the screen and make sure you all are sharing the live out. We're going to have another good grown folks conversation this evening. We're going to keep talking about what we need to talk about. I think I need to remove this background on, how about this? Yeah, we're going to do that tonight because it's just not looking good up there on the screen. Okay, good. Sheila, thank you so much for that you hear me loud and clear. I just wanted to make sure everything's good. All right, there you go, Patty Cakes. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank y'all for continuing to tap the screen on TikTok, on YouTube and Facebook. I see Edwina, you're in there from New Orleans. Deborah from Jayville, Florida. Hi, Robin, I'm glad you're on. Good deal. Sheila Tukes, what's going on? How you doing? Okay, Maria from Lubbock, Texas on Facebook. Thank y'all for showing up. And, I usually I won't start till 5 after, but I wanted to get on here a little early to give everybody an opportunity to get notified. I get fussed at every week that I don't give people a chance to get notified. So, my admins, I was running behind today, so I don't need y'all to fuss at me. I'm sure one or two of them gonna fuss at me. Look, I'm still sweating. Can't even get this is the problem when you have a bald head, no hair, nothing to catch it. What's going on, Clarissa? TikTok, thank you for joining. Yana from Bridgeport, Connecticut, you finally got on. That'll work. Listen, I'm glad you got on. Glad you all gonna be here with me tonight. You say you love being bald, CC. I do too. What's up, Tamika? I'm doing good, doing well. What's up, Helen from Virginia Beach on Facebook? Listen, thank y'all all for joining. I appreciate you all. I think if y'all seem to like the video today, right? As you all know, we're gonna keep dropping them out. You say you ready to fuss. What you mean? Where have you been? Huh? Hey, what's up, Barbara? How you doing? Good evening. Flora from Georgia, Lucretia from Chicago. Listen, do y'all know I was looking at the analytics today? And thank you, Cassandra. Appreciate that. What's up, Charles from Detroit? All right. Yeah, we were looking at the analytics today. And do y'all know the highest city that I have the most followers from? Somebody on here from South Africa. I see you. The number one city that I have the most followers from is actually Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas, then New York, and then it's Memphis. So it's crazy work, right? And then I think it's Chicago that comes right after that. So it's amazing where all the followers for. Okay, Leanne from Germany, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being on this evening. It's nice to have people all over the world starting to check in, man, on these lives. TikTok, y'all keep tapping the screen and y'all keep sharing that thing out for me, letting people know that we're live. And again, we're going to get ready to go in here in just a second on the topic for tonight. Was that Evelyn on YouTube say H-Town? That's right, H-Town. What's up, Dr. Angela Pope? Good evening on Facebook. Princella from Michigan. Tanise from Louisville, Kentucky, from the KY Louisville. I love Louisville. I need to come back up there and do the Bourbon Trail again. Somebody from Nassau, Bahamas. Thank you so much for joining. Wanda from Mississippi on TikTok. Sheila, you know what? So it doesn't tell me exactly what part of New York. It just says New York, unfortunately. Somebody on here from South Africa. Thank you for joining. Like Sugar from Portland, Oregon. Yep, I see people from Nashville, Oklahoma, North Carolina. That's beautiful, man. I love it. Atlanta. Hey, everyone. Atlanta has entered the chat. Yeah, Atlanta is actually one of I think it's like number 7 or 8 on the number of followers coming from that area. It's kind of crazy work, right? Crazy. It's amazing how this changes from week to week to week. Yep, Detroit, actually. What's up, Detroit? Detroit, we actually have quite a number of followers too. So things are growing like wildfire. Yeah, TikTok, y'all keep Guyana, South Africa. I see somebody else. Listen, keep tapping the screen, keep sharing it out. So one thing I want you all to know is, remember, typically after the live, I know that you all are people are reaching out to you, all the scam pages looking like me, using my pictures and everything. And I've reported so many, it's ridiculous. So remember, if you're already following me, you know I'm not reaching out to you to follow, right? I mean, you're already following me. So, you know, I'm not reaching back out to you. I'm definitely not messaging anybody from another app. Again, I only message you from the main app on TikTok. That's it. If I do message you, right? If I respond to a question or something like that, I want y'all to keep that in mind. TikTok, keep sharing this thing out. Yeah, that's right, Sunshine. Keep blocking them. That's all I ask you all to do. When somebody reaches out and you know it's not me, it's a scam, go ahead and block them and report. Gudani from South Africa, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Ula, you say you already know it's not me. That's right, it is not me. Y'all remember, I only have one page. For those of you on TikTok, remember the line, my name is at that little at name that's under Grown Folks Conversation. It is at the Louis V. That's it. I don't have no numbers on my name. I don't have anything else. It is literally the Louis V. Okay. So YouTube is the _ Louis V. Facebook is my name, Louis Vick. So just follow those. Y'all ever have questions, y'all actually do reach out and message me. And for those of you that are on the live, listen, for those of you that are on the live and you don't follow me, you need to follow me. Like, you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on the alerts. You're missing out on not being on the bulletin board. Like, there's a lot of things that happen, but you need to follow me to do so. I know a lot of you that come on here. That's right, Maria, one page, one voice. So a lot of you come on here and you actually don't even follow me, but y'all come to my lives every Monday. At least you can do is give a brother a follow, right? If you're already coming to the lives, go ahead and follow me, right? So you can get your alerts. That way you don't have to worry about missing out. Thank you for that, Cassandra. You don't have to worry about missing out on when I go live, because in the next week or so, I'll do some arbitrary lives. I got some motorcycle trips, and y'all know how I like to do on my motorcycle trips, right? I'm getting ready to hit the road, and I'll go live when I'm with the fellas. And so you'll miss out on all those things because it won't be on Monday. It'll probably be Friday, Saturday, or something like that. Oh, listen. All right, well, here we are. It is 7:07, right? And let's get ready to get into it tonight. I actually put the title tonight in the alert, the update, when I was trying to notify everybody that I was going live around 5 o'clock, right? Here's what I want to talk about tonight. You often hear the words, people are always using the words about being emotionally safe, right? I want to be emotionally safe. I want to be emotionally safe. I'm looking for someone that gives me the ability to be emotionally safe. But my question tonight and what I want to work through is, tell me what actually makes you feel emotionally safe. So tonight we're going to talk about something that sounds simple, right? But it affects every relationship that any of us have. What actually makes you feel emotionally safe? Not physically safe, not financially safe. I mean, emotionally safe. You know, the kind of safe with somebody that you can be honest without fear, the kind of safe where you don't have to wear masks, the kind of safe where you don't have to express your disappointment, fear, insecurity, dreams, mistakes, struggles without worrying if somebody's going to weaponize it to you later. Many people often say that they want love, but what you're really searching for is emotional safety. When people don't feel emotionally safe, and you all can attest to this, right? When you don't feel emotionally safe, you tend to become defensive. You stop communicating. You'll shut down if you're one of those people, or you'll naturally become distant. I think after tonight's conversation, a lot of you are going to realize you've never actually really truly felt emotionally safe in a relationship. But when both people start asking at that point, what happened to us? Where did we go wrong? Let's talk about what emotional safety looks like, how we can create it, especially for those of us that are starting to date, meeting people, looking for your next person, and why so many relationships tend to fail without emotional safety. I want to kick it off with a few engagement questions, and then we're going to really delve into it, okay? Those on TikTok, keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out. So here's my question. So some of you have already started to answer it. What makes you actually feel emotionally safe? I see consistency, character, communication from Sharon on Facebook. Angela said being honest, right? Patricia on Facebook said being heard and showing that both are actions. Becky said when you can trust his words and his actions, with his actions. Miss Cat on YouTube, I see you. Respect, trust, and consistency. Somebody said be transparent on TikTok. Consistency breeds sanity. YOLO, DFW said that. Sunshine on TikTok said honesty and communication. That's what I'm talking about. Now, here's my real question, because a lot of people haven't felt this, right? Have you ever felt emotionally unsafe in a relationship, and what did that feel like? My question was, have you ever felt emotionally unsafe in a relationship? And tell me, what did that feel like? Come on, talk to me. Have you ever felt emotionally unsafe? And what does that feel like? Miss Mary said all the time. Shell said it felt like punishment on TikTok. Shay said it felt humiliating on TikTok. Vernon Williams said no. Yes, rejection. I see that. Tara said yes, alone. Donna on YouTube said always on guard. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So if you've ever felt emotionally unsafe in a relationship, tell me, when you think back to that particular relationship, what was the quickest way for somebody to destroy emotional safety for you, right? What's the quickest way? I see people saying betrayal. Most people over there say they shut down, feel abandoned, right? Somebody said it felt like he was always walking on eggshells. Exactly. Okay, Read to Random said lying is the quickest way for somebody to destroy emotional safety with her. I see being dishonest. Kim, you say you were married for 30 years. Wow. You never felt emotionally safe. Somebody said dismissive, lying. Okay, criticism. Somebody said criticism. Lovely Leia said no reciprocity on TikTok. I get that. No communication, disrespectful, disrespect, humility, inconsistency, betrayal, eggshells, and lying. That Toshia said that on Facebook. Unloved. Sean said not standing up for you when it mattered. That's what I'm saying. People, you got to know that when you're not around that person, or even when you are, they're standing up for you. Tamika said emotional manipulation. Do you think, when you guys think about relationships in this day and age, is emotional safety earned or is it given? Pastor Quinn said being made to feel guilty. Is emotional safety something that someone needs to earn, or do you automatically give it to them once you become into a relationship? Shay said both. I see earned. TikTok, make sure y'all keep tapping the screen and share this thing out. Definitely earned. Liz, I saw you. Jacqueline said both. Barbara on Facebook said both. Both. Okay. What up, Millie? We just getting started. Good. You good. Give it. Okay. Both. Earned. Right. So as you all are talking about emotional safety, most of you are saying that it's earned. Some of you are saying both, right? You don't just give it, right? It has to be earned. What's harder for you? What's harder for you? Is it trusting someone else or being vulnerable yourself? I'm going to say again, is it harder for you to trust someone, or is it harder for you to be vulnerable yourself? I asked the question again so you all understand what I'm saying. There you go. Okay, I see it. What's harder for you as an individual? Is it trusting someone else, or is it actually being vulnerable yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable? I see trust, and a lot of people are saying it's harder to trust somebody else, which surprises me. I see Dr. Felicia White on Facebook. She said both. Harder to be vulnerable, Joyce. I'm actually with you. For me, it's actually harder for me to be vulnerable than it is to trust someone else, which has also been one of my downfalls. I think is that naturally starting to trust people before the trust is even earned. So I get exactly, for those of you that say being vulnerable is harder. I definitely empathize with you. I completely get it. Somebody said being vulnerable to me, both trust is earned. All right. Okay. All right. We're looking good. We're looking good. So what exactly is emotional safety, right? Emotional safety is knowing that you can tell the truth, express your feelings, you can disagree, you can make mistakes, and you can actually be imperfect. And that you're able to do all those things without fear of mockery, judgment, manipulation, punishment, or abandonment. A relationship cannot become intimate if people are so busy protecting themselves that they cannot be vulnerable with one another. That's a true statement, right? So I've already asked you what emotional safety means to you personally. But let me ask you this: when you think back in your life, and it's not just relationships, it could be any kind of relationship, rather, not just romantic. Who actually made you feel emotionally safest in your entire life? When you think about your relationships, tell me what relationship made you feel the most emotionally safe, right? It could be parent, cousin, friend, it could be any of that. Okay. Cole Cougar on TikTok, she said her dad. Ritu Random said her current partner. Shell said her grandmother. Stella said her father. Lovely Leia's mother and best friend. Yes, Maria, they are. They are. They are actually recorded. You can see it on YouTube when it's all done, and Facebook. I see childhood friends. I see grandmother, sister, my mother, my mom, my parents, my cousin. Amor said no one. Ex-best friend, nobody. Miss Mimi said her children. Yvonne, grandparents. My grandparents the same way. My father absolutely as well. Lionheart, I see my grandma, my husband, my mother, my parents. Isn't it odd though, guys, when you start thinking about who actually made you feel really emotional safe in your life? Denise said her pastor. That most people, you always revert back to a family member. That it was a family member. The last time you felt really emotionally safe happened to be somebody that you were related to. Now, there were others that said it, but the overarching theme has been family. You can put a pin in that. We're going to circle back. What behaviors, when you think about that relationship, what was it about those relationships that made you feel so emotionally safe? What behaviors created that feeling for you? What was it that they did to make you feel that you were emotionally safe? What was it that they did? I see grandmothers and dads and cousins and this, that, and the other. Okay, Jacqueline said they listened. They listened. Linda said they listened. Shay said they went through the same traumatic events, so you could relate, you can connect. A good listener, not judgmental. Evelyn on YouTube said, listen without immediately trying to fix you. And that's huge. That is huge. Joy said an active listener on Facebook. I see non-judgmental, right? They listen and they didn't judge. Leah said she could be her ugly self, good, bad, and ugly. I mean, be her authentic self, good, bad, and ugly. I see they were honest. Facebook, I see no judgment. Beatrice said no judgment. Barbara said you can't relate to this one, and that's good for you. That's good for you. You too, or is it? Or is it? I might have misspoke there. I see empathy, right? So I'm seeing all these things where people are saying what made them feel emotionally safe, right? So here's my other question: when you think about emotional safety, right? We've done a little light definition of it, but have you ever confused comfort for emotional safety in a relationship? I want you to think about your relationships, and I want you to tell me: have you ever confused comfort with emotional safety? I'll sit back and wait. Don said yes. I see yes. See, that's what I figured that is. I see yes, because it's actually it's easy to do, right? Jacqueline said no, but I see a lot of people are saying yes on TikTok. See what they're saying on Facebook and YouTube. I see no. See a lot of yeses coming through. Absolutely. See, it's absolutely easy to do. You can be comfortable and really, really believe that you are actually emotionally safe until something happens in that relationship where that's going to be challenged. And unfortunately, at that time, that's when you realize you weren't emotionally safe at all. You were just comfortable in the relationship. And it's easy to do, but we're going to work through this thing tonight. Here's some solutions I want to give you when it comes to pretty much understanding emotional safety and starting to create it in your next relationship or even in your current relationship if you wanted to do better. I want you to listen to understand instead of responding. I want you to allow people to always finish speaking. Validate their feelings, even if you disagree with it. You need to validate their feelings because they need to know that they're being heard. You have to also create a space for honesty. And I want you to accept the fact that that person that you're being honest with may not receive your message as it's intended to be. So that means you're also going to have to exercise a little bit of patience and some grace. So, what's the fastest ways to destroy your emotional safety? Many people don't lose emotional safety overnight. It gets destroyed little by little, right? Here's some things that always happen when it comes to when I talk to coaching and clients. I always hear some of these same things over and over about how it was destroyed for them. Constant criticism, interrupting, dismissing their feelings, name calling, public embarrassment, breaking their trust. A lot of you all said that, and using vulnerabilities as weapons. All it takes is one painful experience, and that can literally make somebody emotionally unavailable for years. Listen to what I said. One experience. See, it doesn't have to be a lot, but one experience can make you emotionally unavailable for years, right? So here's some questions. Have you ever stopped sharing with anybody because your feelings were dismissed? Right? Have you ever stopped sharing because your feelings were dismissed? Right? Okay, I got you. I figure most of you would, right? I figure most of you would. I see a lot of yeses, right? So when you think about that, right? When you think about that you stopped sharing because your feelings was dismissed, what exactly did they do to emotionally make you shut down with your feelings, right? And have you ever unintentionally, here's the real question, have you ever unintentionally damaged someone's emotional safety? I want you to think about that. Think about your relationships. Think about the things that you've encountered with someone. Have you ever unintentionally damaged someone's emotional safety? I see yes. People say narcissistic and gaslighting. Absolutely. Yes. Your children. Wow. No. I see no. No. And a lot of times you may not even know that you did it because that person, remember, on the other side, maybe they shut down. Tamika said, no, she intentionally did when she's being feared. Okay, I see no. Yes, and Dr. Felicia White says, yes, she did, and she asked for forgiveness. Listen, I've done it as well, and the same thing. I am so sorry. That was not my intention, right? That was not my intention. You need to recognize it. And here's the thing about it. You know it when you've done it. We old enough to understand when we have hurt someone's feelings, right? When we've damaged their ability to feel emotionally safe, right? Yep. I don't think it was your intention, Cheryl, right? I don't think it ever is. I don't think that's why I asked unintentionally, did you do it? Right? So here's what I want us all to practice because we all are a work in progress, right? Nobody on here is healed. We all are working. I want you to practice accountability. I know for a lot of people, that's a hard word and that's a hard pill to swallow, but I want us to start practicing accountability. I want us to practice apologizing without excuses. Let me tell you something. One of the worst things you could ever do is apologize to somebody and you try to give an excuse for why you hurt them. It's different if you didn't understand something. It's different if you're trying to work through something. But apologize, try apologizing without excuses. Repair your conflict quickly. Do not ever my dad would always say, son, don't ever let the sun go down on you, arguing with your wife, being upset with your wife, not communicating with her, right? I tried it, but I'm going to be honest with you. Later on those years, I wasn't even doing it my damn self. Whatever. We ain't got to talk for weeks. That's not a healthy way to live, though. That's not a healthy way to work through a relationship. Now, right? If you hurt me, I'm telling you right then. If my feelings are hurt, you're going to know right then. We upset about something, we're going to talk about it that day. You might need to go to your corner for a moment. You might need a little time. We're going to talk about it, right? So you repair your conflict quickly. And at all times, we have to speak with respect during disagreements, right? Speak with respect when you have a disagreement. What we're not going to do is be disrespectful, because you know what happens? When you start being disrespectful, all them damn words get to flying out your mouth. And then all of a sudden, now you said something you can't take back. And I'm going to tell you something. I keep telling people this. I keep saying it over and over. Words hurt. People used to say, you know, words will never hurt me. That's a damn lie. Words hurt. And you have to watch what pops out your mouth. I'm going to tell you something. The most dangerous body part you got is that damn tongue. The most dangerous part on your body is your damn tongue, right? Remember, we're going to practice accountability. We're going to practice apologizing without excuses. We're going to practice repairing conflict quickly. And we're going to practice speaking with respect during disagreements. Listen, I'm telling you, Tamika said that sometimes words hurt more than action. I'm telling you, those words, literally, the words themselves were the last thing I needed when it was time for me to get divorced. Yep, I'm done. It's over. Remember this. People always will remember, though, how safe they felt with you. Remember this. People will always remember how safe they felt with you. Let's go into this piece right here I want to talk about, right? And you're right. Waddell, you can't take them back, right? Yep. Oh, sweet C, she said, always mindful of her words. Absolutely. So here's what I want to talk about, another piece. Why men and women experience emotional safety differently, right? Why do men and women experience emotional safety differently? Yep. Let's get into it. So many women feel emotionally safe when they feel heard, you feel valued, you feel prioritized, and you feel protected emotionally. Ladies, am I correct in that? And y'all tell me if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. Women feel emotionally safe when you feel heard, when you feel valued, when you feel prioritized, and when you feel protected emotionally. Am I correct? Okay. All right. Yep, you're right, ladies. You are wired differently. You are wired differently. Men, we are wired differently, right? Okay, good. Thank you, ladies. I want to make sure I'm right, because y'all know, as I always say, I don't know nothing about women, but I know everything about men. All right. Appreciate y'all. All right. Here we go with men. But men feel emotionally safe when we can be vulnerable without losing respect, when we feel appreciated, when we aren't constantly criticized, and when we feel accepted, even when we're struggling. Did y'all hear what I said, men? Men that are on here, am I correct? Y'all let me know. We feel emotionally safe when we can be vulnerable and not lose respect. Thank you, Queen. When we feel appreciated, when we aren't constantly being criticized, and we feel accepted, even when we're struggling. Mr. Man, thank you, bro. Okay, good deal. Appreciate that. Right. Dr. Felicia said, and don't belittle him. Exactly. So listen, men and women have different needs, but we actually have the same goal, right? We actually have the same goal. Here's some questions. So to my men that are on here, first, I want to ask you this question first. What makes you feel emotionally safe with a woman? Right? Tell me, men. So I don't know if it's a lot of men on here or not, but the men that are on here, what makes you feel emotionally safe with a woman? right? Think about it. Cynthia John Stewart, thank you so much. J Boy said respect, right? I see support from Assad. Okay, I got you. So far I see respect. I see support, right? What else? What else? What else, man? Come on, give me something else because the ladies trying to learn themselves. What is it, man, that makes us feel emotionally safe? Right? I seen respect, right? I seen support, right? We always hear the cliche, we hear the peace and this, that, and the other, but I want something else. Okay, everybody, okay, I see understanding, right? Okay, all right, we'll take that. I'll take that. Ladies, tell me what makes you feel emotionally safe with a man. Now I'm talking about romantic relationships, right? We're talking about romantic relationships. I ain't talking about with your dad, with your uncle, with your cousin. When it comes to a man, what makes you feel emotionally safe with a man? I see respect. Stephanie said feeling validated on Facebook. Comedian said I can talk to her. Okay, you say you can talk to her without judgment. That's from a man. Appreciate you, Larry. Appreciate you, bro. Ladies, okay, I see respectful communication, attention. Young lady on YouTube said security, openness, and transparency. Michael said, he said, when I'm heard. There you go, bro. I got you. Protection and respect. When we can talk truthfully, Flora said on TikTok. Dr. Felicia White, communication, consistency. Consistently. Okay, I got you. Supportive. Sean said, receive well and understand. So I still got some men chiming in, and I appreciate that, fellas. Appreciate you. Yeah, y'all keep on. Laura said, when he actually listens. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay, Sean Bond, TikTok, she said his tone of voice. Listen, a lot of times it's not what you say, right? It's how you say what you say. And I'm actually guilty of that. I am a typical, very strong-willed, very matter-of-fact man. And a lot of times, I don't recognize that I can be overbearing, that my voice tends to elevate, right? And stronger and is more booming. And for a lady that's trying to get her point across, or a lady that's trying to be there for me, or just trying to say how she feels, I can see how my voice and my presence, right, of me or what have you, could be intimidating. And I'm not that. I'm just a big teddy bear completely. But I know I recognize that when I'm trying to get my point across, that I have to be cognizant of how I deliver and how I say what I say. All right. I see Chris says speaking over one another. So we have you ever, and I have to ask this to both men and women, right? Have you all ever felt judged for being vulnerable? Michelle said delivery is the point. You're absolutely right. It's delivery. And I know that, and a lot of men are like that. It's because we're so boisterous out in the world, right? All the time. We have this bravado, and we have to we do to stake our claim on this, while we're in this world. And sometimes when we get with that woman that's supposed to be our soft spot, our refuge, we're still turned, the switch is still on, right? So my question again, I digress. Have you ever felt judged for being vulnerable? I see yes. I see yes, right? I see yes. This is how Shay said this is how she's been taken advantage of. I hate to hear that. Yep. Y'all keep tapping the screen and sharing it on TikTok. Consistency, respect, brown eyes. Brown is Virginia. Okay. All right. Yes. So I think a lot of us, not just men, but men and women, have been felt judged from being vulnerable. It's happened to all of us. Now, here's this question, of course, is obvious to me because I'm a man, but do you think society makes emotional safety harder for men or for women? And why? Think about that. Do you all think society as a whole, when we think about what you see on social media, what you hear in the news, what you see just in everyday life, is it harder for men or for women? Emotional safety. I see both. Somebody says it's hard for us all. I see a lot of ladies though saying it's harder for men. It's harder for me now. Not mind you, I'm biased because I am a man, and I know, and I've been taken advantage of for my vulnerability and being and trying to be emotionally open to my woman. Right, Dr. Anna said it. It's harder for men because when we do it, we're seen as weak. And like I say, it's men would be more open if they didn't feel like they would be judged or considered a weak man. No man wants to ever be labeled as being weak. At least I haven't met one. I've never met a man that wanted to be labeled as being weak. But what happens is that then you get into the point, once a man is judged, right, for being vulnerable, unfortunately, it is hard as hell for the next woman to get that man to be vulnerable. He has to be emotionally mature to understand that this woman is not that woman. It's so hard for, and I can only speak, I'm speaking from experience, and I'm speaking from a lot of men that I know. I'm telling you, you're right. Tiffany said men can't even cook and clean without being judged. That is so true. That is so true. You know, if a man goes out and get his nails done and get his manicure and get a pedicure, then he's spicy, right? If he decide he don't want to date a woman, he got to be DL, right? He don't want to share his feelings. He's emotionally unavailable. I'm just saying a lot of that, right, happens with men. And just so you know, ladies, I am not trying to say that men's emotional safety is more important than yours. But I'm always trying to give you a perspective of why men feel the way we do. All right. Here we go. So here's some solutions though. Some of y'all are asking, what are some solutions to help out when it comes to this piece? Here's what I want you all to do and think about, whether it's with your partner or somebody you're looking to get involved with. Hey, Patty, get that Nathan dude up off of there. He on there, he's scamming. Here's some solutions. One, I want you to ask your person, what helps you feel understood? Literally ask them, what helps you feel understood? Two, ask them, what causes you to shut down? What is it that causes you to shut down when we're having a disagreement? Whether it's tone, whether it's delivery, whether it's feeling like they're not being heard. Ask the question. Tell me what causes you to shut down. And three, how can I support you when you're struggling? Right? I want you to ask those three questions. What helps you? And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're dating, if you're out here dating, think about how powerful this question is when you're getting to know somebody. What helps you feel understood? What actually helps you feel understood as an individual? What causes you to shut down, right? In a disagreement. Listen, those things are paramount. Those are great dating questions on the front end, right? All right, let's move on. Let's talk about trust, transparency, and consistency, because those are key when it comes to developing emotional safety, right? People often think emotional safety actually comes from chemistry. It does not actually come from chemistry with an individual. It actually comes from consistency. Trust isn't built through promises. Trust is built through patterns. So when your words and your actions align repeatedly, what happens to that person in your relationship? They relax. Remember what I just said. When your words and your actions align repeatedly, that person starts to relax. So now, here's my questions. So what's more important to you, trust or communication? What's more important? Trust or communication? What's more important? Lynette, you said, please repeat the three questions. Okay, don't worry about it. I'm gonna make sure you get them, okay? Yeah. What's more important, trust or communication? I see trust. I see communications. And on Facebook said both, right? Both. You say it's hard to answer, Millie. Communication brings trust. Maul said communication brings trust. Or is it that when you develop trust, maybe communication gets better? I don't know. I see communication. Yeah, Val, I know you got to have both. I agree. But my question, though, is simply, which one do you think is more important? Right? Both are equally important, but if you had to choose, trust would be 4 months, Dr. Anna said. Right? So can emotional safety actually exist without consistency? What do y'all think? Can you have emotional safety without consistency? Val Walk on YouTube said trust. Maxine said communication. No, no, no. Right? Somebody said effective communication builds trust. Communication brings trust. On Facebook, I see you. So no, I'm seeing that everybody's saying that you cannot have emotional safety without consistency. So have you ever trusted someone's words more than their action? This ought to be good. Have you ever trusted somebody's words so much that you actually negated their actions? And unfortunately, you didn't even realize that they were really showing you who they were till it was much later on down the line. You realize you've been bamboozled, led astray, you've been hoodwinked, right? Has that ever happened to anybody? You trusted somebody's words more than their actions, right? Somebody said, Benita said, no, she said she's an action person. Somebody said yes and get disappointed every time. Somebody said, yep, I was bamboozled. That's right. Juanita, Facebook, she said, yep. Yeah, Michael said, during the marriage. I know, unfortunately, listen, we all have been down that path. We all have been down that road before, where we literally trusted somebody's words more than their actions. I can't tell you how many coaching clients that I talk to where they talk about, well, he said this, he said that, she said this, she said that. And my question is always, but what did they do? Damn what they said. How did they operate? And that's what we need to be paying attention to. So let me give you some solutions in this area, right? Here's how you build trust, right? You keep your commitments. You follow through. You be reliable at all times. And you're always honest, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Did y'all hear what I said? Keep your commitments. Follow through. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Be reliable and be honest, even when the truth is uncomfortable, especially when the truth is uncomfortable. That person will appreciate you more if you just be honest about it. Even when you know it's going to hurt, you do it anyway. You say what's on your mind. It's better for you, and you're being fair to that individual, right? TikTok, keep tapping the screen, keep sharing it out. Yep, all is very true. I see you on YouTube. All right, so here's my real question to all of you guys, and we finna jump into some details on this. My next segment is: are you actually a safe space for others? Reflect on that. So many people often ask, why don't they open up to me? Why did they stop talking to me? But the better question is probably, do people actually feel safe opening up to me? Right? Because sometimes we all want vulnerability from others while providing judgment in return. That'll preach. Did y'all hear what I said? Sometimes we want vulnerability from others, but all we provide is judgment in return. So here's my questions. Do you all have people, are any of you the type of individual that you have people that come to you with their own personal struggles? Are you that kind of person that where people want to come to you for their own struggles? Somebody said yes, and it sucks on Facebook. Too many times I want them to. Lovely Leia said all the time. Yes, Tamika said. Absolutely without judgment. Yes. Maria said she thinks she's a safe space for others. Okay. Chris said yes. So y'all, a lot of you all are people that people look to because they feel like you're a safe space. Let me ask you this. When you're in a relationship with somebody and they tell you something difficult, how do you respond? When somebody tells you something about yourself, how do you respond in kind? Let's say you're in a disagreement with your person and they tell you, you know what, I noticed when you upset, you start cursing or you start hollering at me. How do you respond when somebody tells you something about yourself that you're not fond of, that is not something that you want to hear? Lavelle said with listening ears. Angela said if it's right, I'll agree on TikTok. Tamika said she let him finish. You think and respond accordingly. Chris Self said he noticed, but what, Chris? Tell me. Nikki said, maybe too honest. Ula says, I say thanks and I didn't recognize it. Okay. Gotcha. I say thank you for making me aware. God's girl Cecilia said, appreciate that. Consider it and try to avoid the action again, Joyce said on Facebook. I love it. Kim says she can't answer that right now. You're a widow. You ain't been in a relationship 3 years. That's all right, Kim. At some point in time, when you're ready, you're going to get out there and do what you need to do. But you right now, you do whatever's best for you. Shannon said, let's sit down and talk about it. I love it. Now, here's another self-reflection question as we're going through this piece. Do you feel like you're a person that's easier to talk to, or are you easier to impress? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to see if we're going to get some transparency over here, some honesty. Are you easier to talk to? Are you easier to impress? Talk. Shay say impress. Tawana said both. Dawn said both. Tamika said talk to. I see Evelyn on YouTube said talk to. Easy to talk to. Okay. Talk to. Okay. Karen said easy to talk to. All right. Okay. Well, then here's my question. A lot of y'all said y'all easy to talk to. But in that instance, if you're easy to talk to, would your ex describe you as emotionally safe? If all of you are so easy to talk to, would your exes describe you as being emotionally safe? I see yes. Nope. Laura said nope. Yes. Dr. Anna said yes. Jackie said yes. Casey said nope. Tara said nope on TikTok. Let's see what we got on Facebook and YouTube. I see yes, most definitely. Tracy said yes on Facebook. Monica said yes. Ann said yes. Okay. KHD Design said nope. Nope. Leah said last six said yes. Definitely. Okay. You should do a live for us to join. This is too much to text. Erica, I'm going to do that. Actually, it's coming soon. I am. I'm going to do it where we're going to have some people join. But I got you, because when we get to Memphis and do it, we're going to go live in person. And we're going to have some good conversation. And I'm going to do it everywhere I go. Gotcha. So you're saying no because he didn't want to be safe, Tamika said. She'll say, I'm not sure what he would say. All right. Tracy said my ex said no. Here's some solutions, guys, I want to give you. Remember this, I need you to practice in any relationship. I want you to practice curiosity over criticism. Angela will be in Memphis August 7th through 9th. Again, I want you to practice. I want you to practice being curious instead of criticizing. I want you to always practice compassion over correction. And I want you to practice understanding before you give advice. Did y'all hear what I said? Those three things, those are key. Those are key. I want you to practice curiosity over criticism, compassion over correction, and understanding before advice. Practice those things, head with the solution. So here's how you're going to create emotional safety moving forward, right? Emotional safety doesn't happen automatically. We all know that. It's actually built intentionally. It's built through respect. It's built through honesty. It's built through patience. It's built through consistency. And it's built through grace. Did y'all hear what I said? Again, emotional safety is not automatically given. It is built. It is built through respect, honesty, patience, consistency, and grace. Phyllis, you say you can do that. That's what I'm talking about. Here's my questions. So, when you think about emotional safety, what emotional safety lesson have you had to learn the hard way? Good, bad, or indifferent? Erica, it's on Facebook. It's on Facebook. We'll drop the link in here, though. Yep. What emotional safety lesson did you learn the hard way? I see grace. Somebody said they had to learn about grace the hard way on TikTok. TikTok, keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out. Anime Dad said compassion. He had to learn that the hard way. Appreciate you being on, bro. You're right, Michelle. Everybody's not interested in being in an emotional safe place. Shay said forgiveness. I see Grace. What up, Maribel? Glad you joined. I learned love alone is not enough, Tamika. That'll preach right there. Listen and understand not to respond. Listen, a lot of people have to go through that. Becky on Facebook said, eating humble pie. Melinda on Facebook said, I must listen before I speak. That's all right. Sheila Took said, listen more and talk less. You know, a lot of times, man, if we let our upper lip touch our bottom lip and just shut the hell up and pay attention, man, we can avoid a lot of discomfort and uncomfortable conversations. That's all we got to do is let your bottom lip touch your bottom. Let your top lip touch your bottom lip. Shut the hell up and listen. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. Yep, Ula said that tongue. That's right. That's right. Patience is definitely one of them. Millie said she changed her tone. That's what I'm talking about. That's it. So what do you need to do to stop doing to help other people feel safe? And it's kind of along that same question. So a lot of y'all already said that. We're going to keep on. What changes can you make today, right now, in this instance, to make sure that you're ready to make somebody feel emotionally safe? I saw people say change their tone. I saw people say listen before they talk. Right? Yep. Sweet Smiley said sometimes you go through trauma and sometimes it helps you learn, to give what you want. You're absolutely right. Isolation, grace, tone. I love it. Listening, deal with your past trauma, change your tone, actively listen, stay aware, hear what they are saying. Sansa, you're absolutely right. Listen. Tamika, there you go. Watch their actions at their word. Actively listen, Dr. Anna said. Oh, Carry On Facebook said admit guilt. That's big right there. Be vulnerable. A lot of people don't want to admit when they're wrong. Yvette said listen more on Facebook. Cold Heart of Gold said not everything in my mind should come out of my mouth. That's right. That tongue is the most dangerous body part you got. Like I said, let your top lip touch your bottom lip. Shut the hell up. Not repeat yourself. Don't sound like you're nagging, being accountable. So this week, I'm giving everybody some homework this week. For those of you in a relationship, for those of you that are dating, for those of you that are in a friendship, it don't matter any of the ships. I want you to ask somebody, ask them what helps them feel emotionally safe. And then I want you to listen and do not interrupt. I want you to share one honest feeling that you've been hiding. We all have them. Share an honest feeling that you've been hiding. And I want you to practice this week responding instead of reacting. Because that's going to help you create a space for vulnerability, no matter who it is. Let me go back. I'm going to say again. Ask somebody what helps them feel emotionally safe. Listen without interrupting. And then I want you to share one honest feeling that you've been hiding. Joyce said that's scary on Facebook. Practice, and then I want you to practice responding instead of reacting. Tamika said, what if I'm single? You got friendships, you got friends, you got people you related to. Listen, remember now I said it's all the ships. This is not just applicable to relationships, to romantic relationships. That's right, Erica. You want to validate their feelings. All right. Listen. So what do you do? How do you protect emotional safety during a conflict? What do you got to do with that? All right. So the true test of emotional safety is actually not how you love each other when things are good. It's actually how you treat each other when things are hard. Anyone can be kind to you when they're happy, right? But what happens when you're angry, when you're disappointed, when you feel unheard, when you feel rejected? Many relationships don't actually end because of disagreement. They actually end because of how you disagree, right? Because if every disagreement that you have with somebody ends up in name calling, shouting, and threats, and silent treatment, right, and character assassination, emotional safety is gone. And people stop bringing issues to the relationship because every time there's a conflict, the conflict feels dangerous. All of us can revert back to our childhood. Here's my question. How was conflict handled for you in the home you grew up in? When you think about your growth, your childhood, how was conflict handled in the home that you grew up in? Y'all tell me, how was conflict handled? Because in essence, that was our first opportunity to start learning how to handle conflict. So, how was conflict handled? Right? How was conflict handled in your childhood? I seen fighting. Kamika said we didn't even talk about it. Shut down, arguing, fighting in arguments, verbal fights, shut down, family meetings. That's good. Wasn't there yelling? We talked about it. I see that on YouTube, right? Cold Hearted Ghost said long talks. Vivian on Facebook said avoidance or yelling. It wasn't. Close up, avoided, stayed unresolved. I see cursing, right? Tell me how conflicts were handled in your childhood. Dad spoke calmly. Mom was the opposite, on Val said on YouTube. Marcella said reckless said first. You saw it. Okay, Dr. Anna said family forums. We said what we had to say, implemented, and moved on. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. Walking on eggshells. There you go. Irvin said, hey, my uncle made us talk it out. And that's what I'm talking about. Arguing. A lot of people don't do that anymore. We don't have those kind of people in our lives right now that will force us to sit down and have these conversations. We're actually supposed to be uncles and aunties. We're supposed to be the uncles and aunties that make people do what they need to do in the families. But hey, a lot of us need to get ourselves right before we can try to correct somebody else. Right? So when you guys are naturally upset, what do you tend to do? Do you pursue it or do you withdraw? What are you? Are you the kind of person that's going to, somebody comes at you, you pursue, you coming right back at them, or do you withdraw? Right? What do you do? Can we talk? Say she withdraws. Withdraw, both. Depends. Withdraw, right back at it. Homie said withdraw, calm, till calm. I love it. Because sometimes you have to go to your corner. You go to your corner, you take a break, because you don't want to make sure that you say nothing stupid, but then you got to address it, right? Say less, withdraw mostly, right? Okay, what makes you actually feel safe during an argument? This is a big one, because if you talk to most people, they actually don't feel safe when you're arguing. My question to you is, though, what would make you feel safe if you're in an argument with somebody? If you have a disagreement with somebody that you love, that loves you, what makes you feel safe, even though you're in a disagreement? Yolo said a calm tone. Remain. Don said if he's calm, the tone, the comeback talk. Karen said when she heard, right? Calm tone, Monica. If it wasn't an argument, the tone, him being calm. Okay. Gotcha. J Boy said, don't bring up the past. That's big, J Boy. Because how a man sees that is that you start bringing up the past, is like you've been keeping tabs, you've been waiting to roll all this out at one time. I often tell people, if you don't address something when it happens, it's done. Let it go. Because it's always going to be seen as retaliation if you bring it up later. Yeah, women too. I got you. You're right, Tamika. I got you. Quite frankly, I don't like arguing and I'm not confrontational, Kim said. See how I feel in the mouth tone, right? And smile. Okay, very matter of fact, I look. Carla says she's guilty. Hey, it's the truth. Most people are. Remember, anytime something happens, you have to address it in the moment. Address it that day. You don't let it go months down the line and all of a sudden he messed around and forgot to take the trash out, and now you popping off about the last 4 times everything else happened, only because the trash, the trash is what turned it over. That was the one thing you needed to push you over. Right? We got to do better about that. So can somebody actually disagree with you without making you feel attacked? Can a person disagree with you and you not feel attacked? Or does it depend on what it is about? Some people say yes. Yep. It depends. What does it depend on? The situation, Tamika, on YouTube. You said it depends. What does it depend on? Because that's either a yes or no. Like, can somebody disagree with you without making you feel attacked? Somebody said agree to disagree. You said, what is this about? I guess you know what? Now let me back up. I actually can see that. So, for instance, if you accuse me of lying about something I know I didn't lie about, I naturally am going to feel attacked. So, no matter what you say and do at that point, especially if I know I didn't lie about it, I feel attacked. I feel like you're coming at my character. I have a problem with that. Right? But if you're correcting me for something I said while we were out, or you felt like I let somebody get too close to me or something like that, hey, straighten me up. Ain't no problem. Very unintentional. So I could see why it may depend on what it is, right? So here's what I want you all to do when it comes to your relationship, right? Your relationships, especially your romantic ones. I want you to create some conflict rules for your relationship. Remember, there's going to be no name calling, no bringing up old arguments. I just said that. No threatening breakups, no public humiliation, and no weaponizing vulnerabilities. Did y'all hear what I said? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it again for the people way in the back in the cheap seats. I want you to create conflict rules for your relationship. There's no name calling. We are not bringing up old arguments or old things that happen. There are no threatening of breakups. We're going to work this thing out. No public humiliation and no weaponizing vulnerabilities. Now, I get it. It's easy to want to break up, especially if you feel like your integrity is being attacked or maybe one of your non-negotiables. But talk it out. Talk it out. And I know it's easier said than done. I get it. I'm no different than anybody else. I know it's easier said than done. Right? Here's something else I want you to do. We have a tendency when we're in arguments, we always say, you always, it's always, that always. I need you to stop using that damn word always. That's triggering to people. We're not using the word always. Instead, I want you to replace it with, when this happened, I felt. Not you always anything. When this happened, I need you to know, here's how it made me feel. See, the goal is never to win the argument. The goal is never to win the argument. I know a lot of y'all up here going, man, I'm so guilty of this. We all are. The goal is never to win the argument, guys. The goal is to protect the relationship while you solve the problem. And whatever you need to do to protect, especially if it's a relationship worth protecting. And if you're out here on some BS or you're in something that you don't need to get into, damn that. But the goal is to protect the relationship while you solve problems. Somebody said they got to get a new pen and pad. Listen, remember, y'all always can go to Facebook or YouTube after this, and you can actually rewatch everything, right? It's on there. The whole thing is on there, right? That's right, Tamika. Do not win. Write that down. You ain't trying to win. You're protecting the relationship. So what makes emotional safety authentic, right? Most people are exhausted because they're performing and they're not being themselves in these relationships. They're being who they think that person wants them to be. I'm going to say again, most people are exhausted because they are performing in relationships and they're not being their genuine, authentic self. And because of that, they're actually being who they think the other person wants them to be. So what do? They hide their fears, their flaws, their struggles, their opinions, and their needs. They hide them all because they're trying to be what they think that person wants them to be. And what happens? You suffer because of it, because you're not being your genuine self. So because you're afraid that the truth, if you tell this person how you genuinely feel, you're afraid that the truth is going to cost the relationship. But if you cannot be yourself in a relationship, you're not experiencing emotional safety in the first place. You're just performing. You're experiencing what I call emotional survival. You're not emotionally safe. You are just emotionally surviving. So a relationship becomes dangerous when you feel you constantly are having to earn your place in it. That's why you have to be open and be honest about how you feel, no matter how it hurts. Because here's the thing, if that person cannot accept how you feel, then that is not your person. if that person cannot work with you because here's what you know, here's how you feel, here's how you work through things, and you're trying to be as authentic as you can, if they cannot accept that, then they need to kick rocks, or you need to kick rocks, because y'all are not meant. You are not meant. Here's my questions. Have you ever felt like you could not be your authentic self in a relationship? Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. Have you ever felt that you could not be your authentic self in a relationship? That's right, Verna. You're right. There is no relationship if you're not truthful. You're right. Have you ever felt that you could not be your authentic, genuine self in a relationship? I see yes. I see yes. I see no. Unique Jen on TikTok, she said, once upon a time. All right. God's Girl Cecilia, she said, no, never. That's a blessing. Letitia said yes with her husband on Facebook. Right? I see no. I see yes. Yolo said when she was younger. DMC, Smiley DMC said no. Good. Millie said she always heard. Trina said once upon a time. Been there, Evelyn, on YouTube. Her on Facebook, right? Let me ask you this. For those of you that have felt like you cannot be your genuine self, what parts of you do you tend to hide more often? What's the part of you that you hide, that you don't really want a person to know in your relationships, right? What's the part you typically hide? Are there any? Unique said how I'm feeling. Michelle said my fears. Yolo said my voice, right? What's it saying on Facebook and YouTube? What parts of you do you typically hide? I see my true feelings. Leah said life issues. Sean said intimacy, fears, feelings. Pamela said, no, she pretty straightforward on Facebook. Sunshine said how I'm feeling. Shay's secrets. What kind of secret? No, that's all right, Shay. We don't want to know them secrets. That's grown folk business. Let me stay out your business. But secrets, I see fears. My true feelings, Janet said on Facebook. Right? True feelings, vulnerability. That's right. So let me ask you this. Why is it that people fear being fully seen? Tell me that. What are y'all thoughts on that? I ask that question a lot in coaching. Why is it that you fear being fully seen? What is it about you that makes you not want to be fully seen? Here we go. Somebody said being judged, being rejected, scared of reactions, being judged. True feelings, not being accepted, rejection. I see everybody it's the same thing, judgment and being rejected. Judged or being belittled. Mentor being belittled, rejected. Rejection, judgment. Wow. Fear of rejection. Rejection. I got y'all. Y'all, we almost done. It's 8:06. We doing good. Right. Keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out on TikTok. Facebook, I see what you said. I didn't want to break up your relationship, right? Fear of rejection. Dwight said trying to hide something. Being betrayed, Tamika said. Being judged. I see you, Doc. Judgment. That's what I'm saying. Sunshine said afraid of losing that person. Showing the worst part of us. Absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about. Most people don't want to be their authentic, genuine self because you feel like either you're going to be rejected, you feel like you're either going to be judged, or you're not going to be accepted in the first place. But guys, isn't that not a person? Are you not, if you're not being your authentic self, and if you're afraid to show who you genuinely are you not being then a representative of yourself? Are you not, if you're being a representative, you BSing because you're not showing who you genuinely are. So you are being a representative. You're not showing your true self. If you're worried about being judged and you're worried about being rejected and you're worried about not being accepted, then you faking the funk. You're not being who you authentically are. And guess what? Then that person falls in love with what? Who you're showing them at that place. And then what happens? You get comfortable and you say, hey, I can now tell them I had these issues. I can now share with them that I went through potential suicide. I can share with them that I was abused as a child. I can share with them that I was raped, and here's why it bothers me when you touch me. And you start sharing all those things all of a sudden, but this person believed that you was this one way. And if they're not emotionally mature enough, they ready to bounce because they cannot deal with who you're now showing them. They're not ready to love this new person. They fell in love with somebody else. So guys, I'm saying is you have got to be who you are. If that person genuinely wants and loves you, they're going to be there for you regardless, right? So what's the difference then between acceptance and tolerance? What's the difference between being accepted and tolerance? Lovely Les said, how soon should you tell them what you're dealing with? That's a matter of comfort, Les. Like people often ask me that. I don't think that there's a real time frame to it. But I think what happens is that as you are getting to know somebody and having conversations, right? Naturally, at some point, you start developing emotional intimacy and intellectual intimacy. And when you start delving into these deep conversations, there's a point in time, I think, when you need to be okay with being transparent because a person really, really needs to know who they're getting involved with. If you want that, if you really think that that's your person, then you, at some point, you got to be willing to go ahead and answer. My question is, what is the difference between acceptance and tolerance? Right? Accepting who they are no matter what. Tolerance is for bad behaviors. Hooswick said it's a decision. It is. It's a decision. You're right. Yep. It's a decision. Feeling like you're just there. Listen, here's some solutions I want to give you guys when it comes to this last topic, the one I just spoke of. I need you, as I just said to you, Les, practice radical honesty. And I know this is not what you hear on social media because I hate hearing people on social media say, don't tell this man about your past. Don't tell this man about this. Don't let him know that. That's bullshit because a lot of y'all, then you wonder why, because you're not being honest with people, you're still out here looking and you're doing the exact same thing over and over and over. And that's insanity. You're expecting a different result. Same thing with men. You've gone through some stuff. You've been hurt. Your heart was crushed. And you don't want to share with this woman. You don't want to let her know why. Stupid as hell to me. It's the stupidest shit in the world. Y'all don't want to be honest with one another. You have to practice radical honesty. Tell them your needs. Tell them your fears. Tell them your boundaries. And share your truth respectfully. I'm going to say again. Anybody you meet, anybody you plan on getting involved with, I need you to practice radical honesty. Share your needs, share your fears, share your boundaries, and share your truth respectfully every time. And if they cannot accept it, that is not your person. I don't care how good they look. I don't care what tricks they doing in the bed. I don't care what the sex game is like. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care where they live. If they cannot accept what you need, what you fear, your boundaries, and you sharing your truth, that is not your person. That is not your person. And no matter how much you want to try to make it your person, that is not your person. Remember this, the right person, they may challenge you. The right person you get with is going to challenge you, but they should never, ever require you to become someone else. Y'all hear what I said? They should never require you to be somebody else. The person is going to challenge you, but they're not going to require you to be somebody else. The goal is not finding someone to accept a mask. The goal is to find someone who actually values the real you. Listen, I appreciate y'all joining tonight as we talked about emotional safety and the importance of it and how you build it and what you need to make sure you need to do for it to grow. I did see somebody ask me, though, how do you rebuild emotional safety after it works? We still got 17 minutes. I want to give you this, too. So how do you build emotional safety? If all those things you've gone through that, you've been open, you've been honest, y'all building a great relationship, you're doing a wonderful job as a couple, and then all of a sudden your emotional safety is broke because somebody got hot-headed, somebody got frustrated, you had a disagreement. One of the hardest things to do in a relationship is rebuilding emotional safety, but it can be rebuilt. Not through promises. If you remember, I told you earlier, it's built through consistency and this, that, and the other, but to rebuild it, not through promises, not through promises, but through consistency. I told you that earlier. Trust is often lost quickly. Remember, you can lose trust instantly, but it's rebuilt slowly, right? Many people say, just trust me, but trust is not given to anybody who just asks for it. It's actually earned because their behavior changes. So if somebody breaks your emotional safety, the only way to get that back is a behavior change and consistency. Emotional safety can be damaged easily through lying, betrayal, broken promises, emotional neglect, and disrespect. And the injured person is going to actually need more than words to believe you again. They need evidence. We need consistency. I need to see that your behavior has changed completely if you want to get back with me. Rebuild emotional safety. You got to acknowledge the damage. You're going to have to take ownership, build consistency, allow time to pass, because guess what? The shit is not going to be rebuilt overnight. You might have killed it that morning. Don't expect it to be fine that evening. That's not how it works. It takes time. It takes time. I'm going to leave y'all with some food for thought. I want you to think about a few things, right? Is there somebody who no longer feels safe with you? Have you done the work to prepare the damage with that particular person? And I want you to ask, are you asking for trust with this person before you've actually earned it in the first place, right? Emotional safety is not built by perfect people. It's built for people who are willing to be accountable, consistent, and trustworthy. That's how emotional safety is built. And when emotional safety exists, then love actually has room to grow. When emotional safety disappears, even love is going to struggle to survive. All right. Listen, thank y'all again for joining me tonight on this live. I hope y'all learned a little bit, right, about emotional safety. We hear all these terms, but I try to do a little more educating around it because I like for people to use terms correctly, but also do a lot of reflection on things that we need to do and make better for ourselves, right? For those of you that are on FB, I'm not supposed to say the names of other social media platforms, but if you're on FB, make sure you join the Grown Folks Conversation group. In that group, we have the link to the event that's going to happen in Memphis, August the 7th through the 9th. Again, for those of you that have already registered, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I'll keep dropping these videos out. Don't worry, after Memphis, we're going to go to a couple of other places. I know Houston is probably a definite. New York is probably a definite. Atlanta's probably a definite. I think Dallas may be a definite. We got a couple good spots. Orlando, like where we have a lot of followers in a couple of areas. And so I'll keep you guys in the loop. The admin team will keep you guys in the loop on what's happening as we continue to grow. Again, thank you again for the continued support. Again, and much love to you all. Thank y'all again for joining this evening. I hope you got something out of it. Y'all got questions? Please feel free to message me, as most of you do. Make sure, remember, after this live tonight, the scam artists are going to be scamming. So remember, if you already follow me, you don't need to follow nobody else. If those of you that are on the live don't follow me, I need you to start following me. Go on, follow me. If you come into my live every Monday, what's wrong with you following me, man? Hit that follow button. Like a few of them videos. Save a few of them. Reshare them if you need to. We need people to get this information out, right? Ula, you said they already busy. I know they are, and I'm so sorry for that. Carry on. Hey, appreciate you so much. E. Louise, you said Long Island, New York. Huh? I think actually most of the followers are Long Island. It's kind of crazy. Carla, you said you got your first scammer. Yeah, just block them. Block them, Carla. Just block them. Right. Yeah, Angela, you can share it. Yeah, share it. Absolutely. Michelle, thank you so much for that, Heart. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate it. Yep. Y'all make sure, again, if you're not following me, follow me. Follow me with no problems. Follow me. Like these videos, share them out. I get a lot of people that say, hey, man, I got somebody shared your video with me, man. I've been following you ever since. And I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much for continuing to do so. Again, thank y'all for joining the live tonight. I really, really appreciate the continued support. Y'all be on the lookout for us as we start to travel. You got any questions about coaching, go to thelouisv.com. I'm on YouTube at _LouisV. And you can go in there and see the entire live, right? It's recorded. It's there. As soon as I end the stream tonight, it's typically up, right, on YouTube. I think Chicago, Melinda. Chicago is one that's another huge following group. So it looks like Chicago will be it. Yep, YT. Yep. Yeah, Patty Cake said YT. What's F1 Patty Cakes? I'm missing that one. Hey, appreciate you, Dina. Thank you for joining on Facebook. I appreciate you all. Thank y'all so much. Good night. Hey, I do my best. Thank you, Cassandra, for following. I appreciate it. Yes, for those of you all that are following, thank you for the love. For those of you that are on and not following, you should be. You should be. Angela, which handle are you talking about? Okay. You say F1. Okay, I got you. When I say something I shouldn't. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good night. Okay, I got you, Liz. You know how to get at me. You know how to get at me when it's time for us to get that session going. Thank you, Benita, for following. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cookie, you sleepy or something? Is that what you're saying? You finna go to night? Yep. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all so much. Good dialogue. Thank y'all for answering the questions. I know I gave y'all a lot of extra questions tonight, but I had a lot I was thinking about. And so I wanted to make you all I want to make sure you thought about them too. You said, what did I say was in my glass? Just some Uncle Val's and cranberry juice. I'll let you look up Uncle Val's and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yep, meet and greet, Memphis, 7th through 9th. Y'all, Tamika just got back from cruising all over the globe, and she joined us again for the TikTok. So we're glad you made it back safely, Tamika. Good night, Kim on Facebook. Good night to you all. I appreciate you all so much. All right, we get ready to start shutting down again. As always, much love. Louis V out. I'll drop another video in the morning.